Hello everyone, my name is David. Today we are going to take a look at another horrible case with you. If we meet a new person in the beginning, we enjoy getting to know them, talking to them and spending time together. Sometimes these connections become so deep that it becomes incredibly difficult to let go of that person. But in today's case, an illicit relationship doesn't just take one but two lives, and as a result, dozens of lives are ruined. The date was May 22nd, 1999. On this day, in a house in New York City, USA, Mahek Bukhari was born. From childhood, Mahek was incredibly beautiful, lively, and had a charming way of speaking. Her father, Raza Ali, and mother, Ansreen, loved her deeply. This small family was happy in their lives, but when Mahek was just 3 years old, they moved to England. They settled in a city called Stoke-on-Trent and specifically lived in a town named Tunstall. After moving here, a new member joined their family, Mahek's younger brother, Armaan Ali. Although we don't have many details about Mahek's childhood, one thing is certain: she had an interest in fashion and design from an early age. During her childhood, Bratz dolls were extremely popular among kids, especially girls. These dolls were quite different from Barbie dolls because they had thick makeup, intoxicating eyes, big lips, and small bodies. Their outfits also stood apart from Barbie's traditional, classy look, making Bratz dolls a style icon for many girls. Mahek also loved these dolls, and this is what sparked her early interest in fashion. After completing her schooling, when Mahek had to choose a university, she selected Manchester Metropolitan University and enrolled in the fashion design program. While studying at university in 2018, Mahek created accounts on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Initially, she focused more on YouTube, where she started posting about her daily life. Sometimes she would vlog about traveling to Turkey with her parents, and occasionally she would upload content related to fashion and beauty. Soon her followers grew rapidly, and before long she decided to drop out of college and dedicate her full attention to social media. By that time, Mahek had built a massive fan following not just on YouTube, but also on TikTok. In some TikTok videos, she would be seen dancing with her brother, while in others, she and her mother would replicate various TikTok trends. Then came a time when her TikTok account started growing rapidly because a few of her videos went viral. After that, every video she posted began receiving millions of views, and as a result, Mahek started earning a significant amount of money online. During this period, she landed several brand deals, and as she climbed the ladder of success, she even started getting paid to attend the openings of various bars and clubs. Everything in Mahek's life was going great, and besides, she and her mother spent most of their time together. So when Mahek started making good money, the mother-daughter duo would go out to bars or clubs together every night. However, Mahek had no idea that this seemingly normal routine would completely change her life. While making TikTok videos, Mahek realized that any video featuring her mother, Ansreen, would get more views, likes, and comments. The reason was that 40-year-old Ansreen maintained herself well, and on top of that, she had gotten married at a very young age. Because of this, Mahek was born early, which meant that there wasn't a significant age gap between the two. Ansreen was actually born in Pakistan, and since childhood, she had dreamed of becoming a flight attendant. However, her parents were quite conservative, so they never accepted her dream and were unwilling to educate her further. In fact, she was married off at the age of 21 and gave birth to Mahek when she was 22. A few years later, she had a son, and from the moment she got married, she devoted herself to the roles of a housewife and a mother, letting go of her own aspirations. But now, through her daughter Mahek, she was finally experiencing a luxurious lifestyle. Mahek and Ansreen made videos together, went clubbing, and partied as a team. Mahek once said, "Ansreen is not just my mother, but also my best friend. I feel like our relationship is less like mother and daughter and more like two real sisters. However, as she became more involved in the party scene, Ansreen's personality started changing. She was no longer the responsible housewife. Instead, she was transforming into a free-spirited and carefree woman. She felt as if God had given her a second chance to relive her youth. After all, she had spent her younger years raising children, and now she was gradually aging. Eventually, Ansreen even created her own Instagram and TikTok accounts. Then, one day in 2019, Ansreen's niece visited their home and opened the Azar app on her phone. Azar is actually an app that serves as a leading global video chat platform, instantly connecting people with new acquaintances. On this very app, Ansreen's niece started chatting with a stranger, and during their conversation, she casually mentioned that she was visiting her cousin sister, Mahek Bukhari. In response, the boy on the other end asked, "Are you talking about the same Mahek Bukhari who is famous on TikTok under the name Maybe?" Hearing this, Ansreen's niece was delighted and told the boy on the video chat, "I can't introduce you to Mahek because she's not home right now, but I can introduce you to her mother, Ansreen." She then handed her phone to Ansreen, and the boy introduced himself as Saqib Hussein, mentioning that he was 27 years old. Ansreen and Saqib spoke for a few minutes, during which Saqib revealed that he also lived in the UK. In fact, Saqib's home was in a town called Banbury, about 98 miles from Tunstall, where Ansreen lived. Their conversation was pleasant, and as soon as the call ended, Saqib followed Ansreen on Instagram. However, when Ansreen later opened Instagram and checked her messages, she was shocked to see a flood of messages, all from Saqib Hussein. Since they had a good conversation and Ansreen also enjoyed talking to Saqib, she couldn't bring herself to ignore his messages. From this point, their daily conversations began. Within the first week, they had exchanged numbers, and soon most of their conversations took place over calls. However, the surprising part was that Ansreen was a married woman, happily living with her husband, Raza Ali, and their 2 children. At this point, she should have ignored Saqib Hussein's messages, but perhaps she enjoyed the attention from the handsome, tall, and young Saqib, which is why she couldn't resist. Eventually, their conversations also transitioned into video chats as they became a part of each other's daily lives. Whenever Ansreen was home alone, she would chat with Saqib Hussein over video calls while doing laundry, cooking, or washing dishes. While she cleverly hid this relationship from her husband and son, her daughter Mahek, who spent a lot of time with Ansreen, had already sensed that her mother was secretly talking to someone. In fact, there was even a time when Mahek saw Saqib's face on a video call. When she asked her mother who he was, Ansreen lied, saying, "He's just a normal friend, and we are only friends." While Ansreen wanted to keep this relationship hidden from her family and continue it in secret, she also began meeting Saqib discreetly in hotel rooms in London and Birmingham. There were even times when their physical relationship took place at Ansreen's home, specifically when no one else was around. From the very beginning of this relationship, one thing was certain: Saqib was far more invested in it. On the other hand, Ansreen was already married. She had a home, a good husband, and 2 children. To her, Saqib was nothing more than a side fling. While Ansreen was just passing the time with him, Saqib believed it to be true love. Perhaps the biggest reason behind this was their age difference. In their initial conversations, Saqib had claimed to be 27 years old, but he was lying. In reality, he was only 18, and Ansreen was probably the first woman in his life to give him that much attention. Because of this, Saqib would send gifts to Ansreen's house and occasionally order her favorite food through Uber Eats. Saqib was so deeply obsessed with Ansreen that whenever he found out she was at a bar or club with her daughter, Mahek, he would show up and watch Ansreen dance. He even went as far as paying their bill at the end of the night. This also revealed that Saqib did not come from an ordinary family. His family was wealthy and never thought twice before giving him money. At this point, Saqib was willing to do anything for his girlfriend, Ansreen. But after 2 years of this affair in 2021, Ansreen started thinking about breaking up with him. By then, Ansreen had grown tired of meeting Saqib in secret and often felt stressed about their affair. She was terrified that someone might find out about it. When she finally confronted Saqib about ending things, he panicked like a child and begged her to reconsider. However, Ansreen didn't respond to him and carried on as if nothing had happened for a few days. But Saqib became increasingly obsessed with her. He wanted to know where she was at all times, who she was with, and what she was doing. He repeatedly forced her to share her location, and fed up with this behavior, Ansreen eventually cut off all contact with him. She stopped answering his calls and didn't even read his messages. But one day in December 2021, while Mahek was doing a live session with her mother, Ansreen, Saqib suddenly appeared in the chat. He typed, "Tell your mom to call me." Ansreen saw the message and told her daughter to ignore it. However, a few minutes later, she left the live session and went to the bathroom, where she called Saqib and said, "That's enough. After what you did today, there is nothing left between us. Get out of my life and my family's life." With that, she hung up the phone and was about to block him, but just a few seconds before she could do so, Saqib started bombarding her phone with video after video and photo after photo. In reality, these were private pictures and videos that Saqib had secretly taken of Ansreen during their hotel meetups and video chats. By sending these files, Saqib threatened his girlfriend, Ansreen, saying, "If you break up with me, I will send these dirty pictures to your husband." Reading this message, Ansreen felt as if the ground had slipped from under her feet. She started thinking that if her husband and society found out about this relationship, she would have no face left to show anyone. Her husband would leave her, and on top of that, she would have to endure the humiliation in front of the public and her community. For several days, Ansreen was extremely distressed, and during that entire period, she didn't even go out anywhere with her daughter. During this time, Saqib, in his anger, sent multiple messages to Ansreen asking, "Should I upload these pictures on Twitter or should I send them to your daughter?" By this point, Saqib had become completely obsessed with Ansreen, and he also felt that she had wasted his time and money. He even sent a text message to Ansreen saying, "At least return the money I spent on you. I must have wasted at least £3,000 on you. If you convert £3,000 from the United Kingdom into American dollars today, it amounts to approximately $3,800. Hearing this, Ansreen became even more terrified because the situation had now escalated to blackmail. Now, the stress on Ansreen's mind had increased significantly, and because of this, she decided to confide in her daughter, Mahek. However, upon hearing this, Mahek became extremely angry because her mother had been deceiving the entire family for the past 2 years. But after calming down, Mahek revealed something equally disturbing to her mother, that for the past few days, an anonymous person had been uploading inappropriate videos on the internet under her name. These were actually X-rated videos where the body belonged to another girl, but the face was Mahek's. With the help of artificial intelligence technology, it is possible to take anyone's voice and face and create any kind of video. Such photos or videos are made using deep-fake technology, which has often been used to defame individuals or spread misinformation. After hearing everything her mother said, Mahek expressed concern, saying, "Mom, I think Saqib is the one making these videos of me. And I also feel that now he might try to ruin our entire family's reputation as revenge against you." Hearing this, Ansreen felt deeply hurt, realizing what her family was going through because of her one bad decision. Because of this, mother and daughter decided that Saqib Hussein would have to be taught such a lesson that he would never dare to make such a mistake again. Then, one day in February 2022, Mahek sent a message to her mother on WhatsApp that read, "I'll soon get him jumped by guys, and he won't know what day it is." One day after this, Ansreen called her boyfriend, Saqib, and said, "I'm ready to give you £3,000. To collect the money, come to the Tesco supermarket parking lot in Leicester on February 11th. Unfortunately, Saqib agreed to meet his girlfriend, Ansreen, at the location she mentioned that day. In fact, this time Saqib even convinced his friend, Hashim Ijazuddin, to accompany him. However, Hashim Ijazuddin knew nothing about his friend Saqib's affair or the blackmail. He was just going along with his friend. This meant that Hashim had absolutely nothing to do with the entire matter. But on the other hand, Mahek Bukhari was fully prepared to teach her mother's boyfriend, Saqib Hussain, a lesson. Mahek contacted her car mechanic friend, Rakan Karwan, and asked him to bring along some friends to beat up Saqib. According to CCTV footage, Saqib and Hashim arrived at Tesco's parking lot at 1:17 a.m. on February 11, 2022, in Hashim's car. Meanwhile, Mahek's friend, Rakan Karwan, arrived with his best friend, Rais Jamal, Rais's cousin, Amir Jamal, and friends Natasha Akhtar, Sanaf Gulum Mustafa, and Mohammed Patel. Their plan was that the men would beat up Saqib while the women would snatch his phone and delete the photos and videos from it. The men sitting in the car at the parking lot had their faces covered with black balaclavas, and they also had a tire iron to attack Saqib. However, in the CCTV footage, Hashim's silver Skoda Fabia stopped in the parking lot for only a few seconds. Saqib, who was sitting in the passenger seat, noticed that Ansreen and Mahek were not alone. Instead, they were accompanied by two cars filled with passengers. The blue seat Leon was driven by Rais, while the Audi TT was driven by Rakan, with Mahek and Ansreen sitting inside the Audi. Seeing this, Saqib became scared and immediately told his friend Hashim to drive away as fast as possible, but both cars started chasing them. When Saqib realized they were being followed, he immediately dialed 999 to contact the police. The call lasted about 5 minutes, during which Saqib grew increasingly panicked with every passing moment. In an attempt to save their lives, they even ran a red light. Still, all three cars sped down the A46 route at 100 miles per hour. As per the victim's family's wishes, Saqib's 999 call recording was not made public, but its transcript is available. Saqib reported that two cars were chasing him, and the men inside were wearing black balaclavas. They were ramming into Saqib's car from behind and trying to force them off the road. While talking to the operator on the emergency number, Saqib, in a panic-stricken voice, said, "They're trying to kill me. I'm going to die. Please, I just need help. They're ramming our car from behind. Please, I'm begging you for my life. I'm going to die." But the last thing the 199 operator heard from Saqib was, "Oh my God." After saying this, Saqib's phone got disconnected because their car crashed into a tree on the side of the highway, splitting into two pieces and bursting into flames. Coincidentally, just a few minutes later, a tow truck driver was passing by the A46 highway, and upon seeing the burning car, he immediately informed the police. Around 10 minutes after the police were called, at approximately 1:40 a.m., police officers and fire trucks arrived at the scene. By that time, Hashim's car was split into two, and high flames were raging in the darkness of the night. After extinguishing the fire, officers discovered that 21-year-old Saqib Hussain and 21-year-old Hashim Iyazuddin had died, and their bodies were severely burned. The police then took immediate action, first checking the highway's CCTV footage. The cameras were equipped with an automatic number plate recognition system. Using the number plates of the two vehicles involved in the conspiracy, the police tracked them down. The first car they stopped was a blue seat Leon, driven by Natasha Akhtar. The officers arrested Natasha Akhtar on the spot. Additionally, some nearby CCTV footage showed the other individuals in the car walking normally along the street. In reality, they were all making their way back home on foot. However, at 8 a.m. on February 11th, the police knocked on Ansreen's door, where her husband, Raza Ali, answered. Raza Ali was shocked to see the police, and when they told him they were there to question his wife and daughter, he became even more surprised. When the police questioned Mahek about the car crash, she lied and said, "We don't know anything about this accident because we were at an event in Nottingham." However, when the police verified Mahek's claims, they found that there had been no such event in Nottingham that night. Because of this, the police arrested Mahek and her mother, Ansreen, and took them to the Leicester police station for interrogation. During questioning, Mahek and Ansreen told countless lies. At first, Mahek insisted that she was not in the car that was chasing Saqib. But after hours of interrogation, she admitted that they were indeed following Saqib's car, but only to stop him and have a calm conversation. Nothing more. On the other hand, during questioning, Ansreen completely denied ever having an affair with Saqib. But detectives had already accessed Saqib Hussein's iCloud account and reviewed all the videos and pictures. They even found numerous text messages between Ansreen and Saqib, in which Saqib was demanding his £3,000 back. Additionally, while interrogating Natasha Akhtar, detectives learned the names of all the criminals involved and successfully arrested them. However, everyone kept lying to save themselves. Amidst all this, Mohammed Patel decided to help the police and revealed the entire story. He stated that Mahek had never told them about Ansreen and Saqib's affair. Instead, she claimed that a thug named Saqib Hussein was creating X-rated deepfake videos of her and uploading them on the internet. Moreover, during the interrogation, Mohammed Patel also disclosed that when Hashim's car caught fire, none of them called 999 to help him. After taking statements from all the criminals, the trial began at Leicester Crown Court on August 4th, 2023. Mahek and her mother, Ansreen, were seen entering the courtroom, both well-dressed and wearing full makeup. In fact, several people even noticed them laughing loudly. During the hearing, Judge Timothy Spencer stated, Saqib Hussein and Hashim Iyazuddin were brutally trapped. First, Saqib Hussein was lured to a deserted location with the promise of money, then chased at high speed. Ultimately, he was pushed to his death, and when their car crashed instead of helping them, everyone focused on saving themselves. During the court hearing, the judge even told Mahek, "TikTok has ruined you. You think you are special, but your fame is hollow. You became self-obsessed and had no concern for how your actions were affecting others." He also turned to Ansreen and said, "You were the eldest in this group and you should have made wiser decisions." The court took 28 hours to reach a final verdict. Eventually, they found Mehak Bukhari and her mother, Ansreen, guilty of double murder. Upon hearing the verdict, Mahek broke down in tears. Additionally, 46-year-old Ansreen was sentenced to 26 years and 9 months. 24-year-old Mahek Bukhari received 31 years and 8 months. 23-year-old Rais Jamal was sentenced to 36 years. His 28-year-old brother, Amir Jamal, to 14 years and 8 months. 29-year-old Rakan Karwan to 26 years and 10 months. 23-year-old Natasha Akhtar to 11 years and 8 months. And 23-year-old Sanaf Gula Mustafa to 14 years and 9 months in prison. Detective Inspector Mark Parrish stated that Hashim Iyazuddin had nothing to do with this case. He further mentioned, "I had the chance to meet Saqib Hussein's family, and they are truly good people. After speaking with them, I was convinced that if Ansreen and Mahek Bukhari had simply talked to Saqib's family, they would have scolded him and made him stop his actions, and Saqib would have likely listened. Alternatively, Ansreen and Mahek could have gone straight to the police station and filed a report against Saqib, which might have resolved the matter then and there. But instead, the mother and daughter took the law into their own hands, ruining not only their lives, but also those of many others. So with that, the Saqib Hussain and Hashim Iyazuddin case comes to an end right here. If you appreciate our efforts, like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. Thank you.